Today's story is one of the most heartbreaking mysteries to come out of Texas in recent years. A young woman, just 18, days away from giving birth to her first child, vanishes without a trace. Her boyfriend disappears too. Days later, police find their car, and what's inside shocks even the most experienced detectives. This is not just a story about murder. It's about trust, family, and how love can twist into tragedy in the most unexpected ways. This is the case of Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra. Savanah Soto was a bright, gentle girl from San Antonio, Texas. She was known by everyone in her family as Nana. She was only 18, but she had a calm maturity, the kind that comes from taking care of everyone else before yourself. And in late December 2023, she was 9 months pregnant. She was glowing, nervous, excited, ready. She and her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, 22, were preparing to welcome a baby boy. They named him before he was even born, Fabian. Their apartment was small, but filled with hope. Savanah had packed her hospital bag, folded the baby clothes, and even recorded TikToks about becoming a mom. Her induction date was set for December 23, 2 days before Christmas. She couldn't wait. But on the morning of December 23, everything changed. Savanah never showed up at the hospital. Her mother, Gloria, began calling her phone over and over. No answer. She texted Matthew too, still nothing. At first, Gloria thought maybe they'd gotten cold feet, or gone to a different hospital. But after hours turned into a full day, panic started to creep in. By the next day, December 24, Gloria went to Savanah's apartment. The door was locked. No one answered. By the evening of Christmas Eve, Gloria could barely breathe. Her daughter, pregnant and due any moment, had vanished into thin air. She called police, filed a missing persons report, and begged the public for help. She was supposed to give birth today, Gloria told local reporters. She wouldn't just leave. Not my Savanah. San Antonio police immediately began tracking down leads, cell phone pings, security cameras, nearby gas stations, anything that could show where the young couple had gone. Detectives soon found something strange. The last known sighting of Savanah and Matthew was at their apartment complex around midnight. A neighbor remembered seeing Savanah's gray Kia Optima drive away. No crash. No shouting. Just a quiet car disappearing into the dark. After that, silence. No phone activity. No social media posts. And for a girl who was constantly in touch with her friends and family, that silence was chilling. 3 long days passed. Then, on the afternoon of December 26, a man called police. He'd found a gray sedan parked awkwardly near Leon Creek, a quiet area of San Antonio. At first, he thought it was just another abandoned car. But something about it felt off. The windows were fogged, the doors locked. When officers arrived and broke the glass, the smell told them everything. Inside sat 2 people, motionless. 18-year-old Savanah Soto and 22-year-old Matthew Guerra were both dead. Each had been shot in the head. And in the front seat, Savanah's unborn baby, the little boy she was about to bring into the world, had also died. The news rippled through the city. A pregnant teenager and her boyfriend, murdered days before Christmas. Veteran detectives called it one of the most heartbreaking scenes they had ever witnessed. At the crime scene, there were no shell casings, meaning the shooting likely happened elsewhere. The car was carefully parked. Whoever did this had time, maybe even help. The investigation moved fast. Detectives canvassed nearby cameras and discovered something important. On the night Savanah disappeared, her Kia Optima was followed by another vehicle, a dark SUV. That SUV was registered to a man named Ramon Preciado. Police dug deeper and found Ramon had a 19-year-old son, Christopher Preciado, a name that wasn't unfamiliar. Christopher knew Matthew Guerra. They weren't close friends. In fact, there'd been bad blood between them for months. Arguments, social media drama, jealousy, even talk of a fight that never happened. Detectives pulled Christopher's phone records. They discovered that around the time Savanah and Matthew vanished, his phone had pinged near the same area as theirs. Then came the breakthrough, a ballistic match between a bullet fragment found inside the Kia and a handgun linked to Christopher. When police searched his home, they reportedly found shell casings, blood traces, and evidence suggesting the couple had been killed elsewhere, then moved. But Christopher hadn't acted alone. Texts on his phone revealed he'd contacted his father, Ramon, and his stepmother, Myrta Romanos, after the murders. The messages hinted at something chilling: help with moving the bodies and cleaning up the evidence. Soon after, all three were arrested. Christopher Preciado, charged with capital murder. Ramon Preciado, charged with tampering with evidence and abuse of a corpse. Myrta Romanos, charged as an accessory. The news hit San Antonio like a thunderclap. How could a family become part of such horror? A father and stepmother allegedly helping their own son cover up the murder of a pregnant girl. Reporters filled the courthouse steps. The community demanded justice. But the story wasn't over, it was about to take a strange turn. When 2024 began, prosecutors were confident. They had phone data, surveillance footage, and ballistics. The Preciados were facing decades, maybe life, in prison. But behind the scenes, something was wrong. The case hinged on forensic testing from the handgun and DNA samples taken from the car. Those tests were delayed, badly. The crime lab was overwhelmed, and evidence couldn't be processed in time for trial. Defense attorneys pounced. They argued that Myrta Romanos, the stepmother, was being held without proof she'd even been involved. She claimed she never touched the car, never helped move anything, and that her only mistake was trying to protect her family after hearing what her stepson had done. Months dragged on. Still no DNA report. Finally, the Bexar County District Attorney's Office made a shocking decision: they dropped all charges against Myrta Romanos. The courtroom fell silent. Reporters rushed out to break the news. Savanah's family broke down in tears. Her mother, Gloria, sobbed outside the courthouse. "They walk free, but my daughter and her baby never will." Prosecutors clarified that the dismissal wasn't permanent. If the pending forensic tests connected Myrta later, they would refile charges. But the damage was done. People began questioning whether justice would ever come. As of now, Christopher Preciado remains behind bars, awaiting trial for capital murder. Prosecutors have announced they will seek the death penalty. His father, Ramon, is also awaiting trial for helping conceal the crime. Myrta Romanos, the stepmother once accused of aiding them, is free, insisting she's innocent. She told local reporters, "I didn't kill anyone. I was just a mother trying to hold my family together." The community remains divided. Some believe she knew exactly what was going on. Others think she was dragged into chaos she never understood. Meanwhile, Savanah's family continues to fight for justice. They've created online memorials, organized vigils, and keep reminding the world that 3 lives were lost, not 2. Savanah, Matthew, and little Fabian, Gloria says. "We'll never forget them." Candlelight vigils still light up the same park where her car was found. People leave teddy bears and baby clothes beneath a small cross with her name carved into it. This case is still unfolding. Trials are pending. Evidence continues to surface. But beyond the legal battles, one haunting question remains. Why? Why would a young man, barely out of his teens, choose violence over forgiveness? Why would a father risk everything to protect him? And how does a mother move on when justice feels so slow? Savanah's story reminds us that tragedy doesn't just happen in the dark. Sometimes, it hides inside families, in jealousy, in fear, in love twisted the wrong way. So the next time you hear about a missing persons case, remember Savanah Soto. A girl who dreamed of becoming a mother. A boyfriend who wanted a second chance at life. And a baby who never got to see the world. I'm World Cases, and this was the tragic mystery of Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra. If you believe their story deserves justice, share it, because sometimes, telling the story is the only way the truth survives.